Do you know there's a deadly glitch on the iPhone? Even if a dead body in a freezer opens its eyelids just a little bit, no matter how cloudy the pupils are, the Face ID will still unlock. If you don't believe me, you can try it yourself. This iPhone user was stabbed 40 times. Their entire chest was mutilated, all their fingernails were ripped out, and there's a large amount of semen on their private parts that hasn't even dried yet. It's still steaming. The weirdest part? A blood-stained bracelet was tied around the base of their tongue. The police haven't cracked this murder mystery yet, and already a second body has been found. This time, the victim is of Asian descent. Their throat was slit, and the word fraud is written in big letters across their forehead. That's not all. Their eyelids were stapled shut. A few days later, a third body washed up in a bathtub, looking just like your favorite duck blood soup. The kill rate is spiraling out of control. Before anyone could figure out what was happening, another body turned up with its head completely crushed. This was a massive serial killing spree that rocked Atlanta, USA at the start of the new year in 2026. In today's video, I'm taking you to the crime scenes to expose all the shocking facts behind these events. Atlanta is the capital of Georgia, located in the southeastern United States. It hosted the 1996 Summer Olympics, it's the home ground for NBA teams, and it's the headquarters for global giants like Coca-Cola and CNN. That's why this city is known as the Gateway to the South. Even if you've never been there, you've definitely heard the name. That night, a body was found on the hood of a sports car. The next morning, the police got the call. Veteran Detective Jack and his new partner, a guy of Indian descent named Aya, rushed to the scene. Finding bodies in America isn't exactly rare, but the nature of this one is twisted. A high-end nightgown lying face down on the hood, completely lifeless. Given the pale skin and the expensive Jaguar, it's clear the victim was someone influential. We have to take this seriously. Jack is a gentleman who works for the feds. The locals have their own theories about him, but let's just call him Jack. The police taped off the area, and reporters swarmed like flies on rotten meat. Jack is struggling to keep them at bay, refusing to leak any info. Just then, a fair-skinned black female reporter started pushing Jack. Aya thought Jack might know her, but Jack said he'd never seen her before. Still, after shooing the reporters away, Jack started tailing her. He saw the reporter check into a small hotel in the city after having dinner with her cameraman at a restaurant. Jack got the room number from the front desk and went straight upstairs to bang on the door. Things were heating up inside. You hear the bed squeaking? You know who that was? Her husband. Pretty scandalous, right? If the murder mystery and the personal drama weren't so messy, I wouldn't even be telling you this. This smart girl, Angie, who's cheating on her husband in broad daylight, was once a news anchor for an Atlanta channel. She quit a year ago due to family issues, but when she came back, she saw a beautiful girl named Kim had taken her spot. In the world of the elite, there's no place for the useless, so Angie was left unemployed. To save her career, she begged her boss for one last shot. She heard about the murders in the town and was sure that as a local, she could get some amazing coverage. The boss agreed, and Angie headed out with her cameraman, Bo. And guess what? Bo is Kim's husband. Angie isn't using Bo for his skills. She's using him to get under Kim's skin. Even though Kim and Bo were office sweethearts, now that Kim is a big anchor, she doesn't care about him anymore. She's so busy with work that when she gets home, all she says is she's tired. The time they spend talking now is shorter than the time it takes to upload one of my videos. After finishing her report, Angie updated her boss and headed home to check on her daughter. Seeing her mom after a year, the girl was in tears. Jack walked in shortly after, looking like a son-in-law visiting the in-laws. Angie asked who the victim was. Jack didn't want to say at first, but Angie's a woman. She knows how to pull the truth. Jack admitted the victim's name was Rachel, someone Angie knew. Before Angie could finish, her daughter walked in and asked, "Hubby, when did you get here?" Angie was shocked. It turns out her daughter is suffering from Alzheimer's. She had wandered out into the streets alone in the middle of the night, and the police had brought her home. The dynamics of their marriage are complicated. Let's set that aside for a moment. Back at the station, Jack checked the forensic report. The victim died from 40 stabs with a small knife. 40 times! The amount of hate you need for that is unbelievable. Plus, all 10 fingernails were ripped out, and there was plenty of semen found inside. Per protocol, every police officer has to submit a DNA sample to avoid any confusion. Jack said he'd do it later and went back to the investigation. Naturally, the husband is the prime suspect in his wife's murder. Jack was supposed to meet Pizza King Malcolm. Malcolm is incredibly wealthy, yet after his wife's death, he neither reported it to the police nor is he home. When Jack returned to his sister-in-law Joy's house and turned on the TV,
he heard the news. 40-year-old Rachel Hopkins had been murdered. Joy was stunned. Rachel was her best friend. Jack was furious. Angie had leaked confidential police intel. He went to confront her. "You guys aren't even divorced yet, and you're at a hotel with your cameraman? Are you reporting or making a movie? Trying to get me out of the danger zone?" Angie calmly replied, "You're not doing much better yourself. What's up with you? The police and the media are both looking for the truth, yet both are suspects." She'd seen Jack and Rachel together in a pickup truck the night before, looking pretty cozy. How's that? The story is getting intense, right? Both are lying. So who's the killer? Let's talk about Jack's side. The forensic doctor found a bracelet at the base of the victim's tongue. When asked for a DNA test, Jack made an excuse about being busy and took off. He took Aya to Malcolm's mansion. Malcolm didn't want to admit it, but he confessed to being spineless. He didn't stop his wife from seeing other men, with one condition: don't bring them home, meaning the semen found inside wasn't Malcolm's. Rachel liked to do those things in the back seat of the car. Jack felt uneasy hearing this. He checked the CCTV footage. Rachel left at 6 p.m. and Malcolm walked his dog around 11 p.m., returning in half an hour, which means Malcolm has no alibi. Aya noticed Rachel was on the phone with someone when she left. If they can get that record, the case might be solved. Before leaving, Malcolm mentioned that Rachel had a weird habit. She liked to belittle or provoke her partners during sex to get a sick thrill. Maybe the killer couldn't handle it and snapped. Before he could get more out of Malcolm, Angie rushed off to a nearby special school. The principal, Helen Wong, was a close friend of Rachel's. She surely knew something. At the same time, when Kim was watching the news, she saw that smug smile on Angie's face after the segment and knew she was trying to seduce her husband. Kim started plotting her revenge. On the other side, Jack got new info. The police were hunting for Rachel's phone. Because things were so chaotic last night, it had slipped into the crack of the car seat. If Malcolm hadn't mentioned it, Jack might not have noticed. Jack quickly hid the phone under his pants, because if Aya saw it, Jack would never be able to prove his innocence. Meanwhile, Jack is constantly leading Aya in the wrong direction to keep the heat on Malcolm. Hidden from Aya, Jack is sitting in the office trying to crack Rachel's phone password. Unlike in movies, it's not that easy to unlock. In reality, guessing a phone password is hard. Aya reminded him to submit his DNA sample. If he doesn't do it now, he's in trouble. The forensic lab will find Jack's descendants in the fluid found on Rachel's body. So, Jack went to his sister Joy's house. His little niece was watching cartoons. This was his chance. He tricked her into a detective game to get a saliva sample from her mouth. Done. Now he has to get to the morgue to swap the sample. The staff there knows outsiders aren't allowed. Jack lied, saying he lost his wedding ring and needed to look for it. Evading the security guard, he quickly opened the body storage box. The first attempt at Face ID failed. The second time, he lifted the eyelids with his hands. Boom! The iPhone unlocked. Inside the phone, he saw all his explicit chats with Rachel. As he was deleting them, he saw a message from Helen. It read, "Someone named C-Code is blackmailing Rachel." Rachel had told Helen about her affair with Jack, but Helen suspected Jack was the killer. Coincidentally, his sister-in-law Joy also thinks Jack killed Rachel because his little niece leaked all his activities. Joy hit him with 3 questions at once. "On your way home that night, your clothes
smelled like perfume? Were you spending time with Rachel? If you didn't kill her, why are you putting my niece in danger?" While the siblings were arguing, Angie returned home, planning to have dinner with her mother and daughter. As soon as she opened the fridge, a foul odor hit her. Her daughter keeps saying she doesn't forget anything, but the food was all spoiled. Even an omelet she tried to make had eggshells mixed in. The boss called to say Kim couldn't be found, her phone was off, and Angie had to rush back to anchor the news. After much thought, Angie realized the job was the priority, so she said goodbye to her mom. Seeing her daughter hadn't eaten, the mom forced the omelet into Angie's hands. Watching her mother's love, Angie felt a sudden wave of self-loathing.
She managed to get back to the city, got her makeup done, and sat in the chair, only to see Kim had already returned. There was nothing to do. To save her pride, she had to resign. She walked out in front of everyone. Angie left feeling depressed. Believe me, the situation was humiliating. In a fit of rage, she threw the egg dish out the window and it hit Kim's windshield directly. After returning to the hotel, Bo arrived with a bottle of red wine and condoms, saying he'd help Angie relax. Angie said it was nothing, adding that anyone can forget a phone. She wasn't blaming Kim, but then it clicked. Kim had played this game on purpose to humiliate her in front of everyone. Meanwhile, Jack found a dark truth while digging through Rachel's phone. Rachel, Helen Wong, and Malcolm were all into some twisted physical games. That's why Malcolm kept calling. If those videos hit the internet, his pizza business would be over, and there's no way Helen could remain principal. Jack framed these theories so Aya would focus on Malcolm. Even though Aya is new, she's not stupid. While submitting DNA, Aya heard Jack was looking for a wedding ring. Aya felt something was off because Jack doesn't even wear a ring, and the size 43 boot prints found at the scene matched Jack's feet. Aya kept an eye on Jack while simultaneously tracking Malcolm. Malcolm went to the city in his expensive Rolls Royce and quite suspiciously threw something in a dumpster. Are rich people really that eco-conscious? Aya didn't buy it. After Malcolm left, she went through the dumpster herself. What she saw was gruesome.
Shazam.
Jack wasn't sitting still either. He went back to the woods, wondering how to deal with the boot print issue. Suddenly, headlights flared in the distance. It was a graveyard. This wasn't the coach's retirement route. To keep rowdy kids away, the coach had installed CCTV cameras. Checking the footage, Jack saw Angie there. Jack froze. He remembered the tragic death of their daughter 1 year ago. They had gone to the mother-in-law's house. The 8-month-old wouldn't stop crying. Angie wanted to stay, but Jack insisted on going back to the city for work, leaving the baby with her. That night, the child passed away. By the time the ambulance arrived, her body was already cold. Angie's tears and Jack's regret tore them apart. The day of the murder was the baby's death anniversary. Angie had gone to put flowers on the grave and caught Jack and Rachel in the act. Right after that, the news came that the daughter was sick and had collapsed on the street. Jack dropped her home. The mother-in-law's words seemed to bring them to their senses. She said, "You two still love each other. Why can't you forget the past and start over?" Moved by this, Jack messaged Angie to talk, but exhausted, he fell asleep in his chair, only to wake up to the news of a new murder. Helen Wong was dead. Jack rushed to the school and saw Helen slumped over her desk. There was no hope. The biggest problem was that Angie had arrived there first to report it. She said she had an appointment with Helen and found her dead. She called Bo first, then the police. The boss was excited about the murder, looking for ways to boost ratings. Now the situation is that two friends have been murdered back to back. Both have the same bracelet in their mouths. No fingerprints in the room. It's all very professional work. The only difference is Rachel's missing nails and the word fraud on Helen's forehead. Jack thinks Malcolm hired a professional hitman, but could the cameraman Bo be the killer? Aya found out Bo had killed someone 3 years ago. He's an angry, short-tempered guy, not exactly the cool, calculating type needed for a professional hit. Jack's suspicion is still on Malcolm. The real issue is that Jack's sister, Joy, also has that bracelet. Under pressure from Jack, Joy confessed that back in 2005, there was a group of 4 friends who hung out together. Angie was 16 then, and the others were older. Rachel loved to show off and often gifted Angie revealing clothes. Angie refused at first, but eventually wore them, and Rachel would take photos with her Polaroid. Rachel and her group used to bully an overweight girl at school. They once made her drink soda mixed with urine. Later, Rachel apologized, and that girl joined their group. Caught in the girl's voice, Angie returned to reality from her past. The mother and daughter chatted a bit. The daughter wants Angie to move back to the village, but Angie wants her mom in the city. After saying goodbye to her mom, Angie had to get to work. She convinced the village mayor to hold a town hall meeting at the cultural auditorium. Everyone is terrified after the string of murders in Mondatown. If Angie can calm the situation, it will be easier for the mayor to get reelected. If things get out of control, Angie has a gun in her bag for self-defense. Jack arrived as the police representative to give an investigation update, but he doesn't know the killer's motive or if more murders will happen. His "I know nothing" attitude enraged the crowd, and a fight broke out. While the mayor was hiding his face in shame, Angie was smiling. The whole incident was being aired live, and TV ratings skyrocketed. Seeing Angie in the spotlight, Kim got jealous. She told her boss she would also go to the village to get an exclusive interview with Malcolm. Bo thought he'd spend time with Angie that night, but Kim's call forced him to leave. Kim was a master of fake grief during the interview, and Malcolm, a pro at acting, cried on camera and announced a $50,000 reward to catch the killer. As soon as the camera turned off, Malcolm stopped crying and his face turned sour. Bo, who was getting close to Angie, didn't understand why Kim showed up at this hour to steal Angie's story. Let's skip what that couple did in the car. Let's talk about the other couple. Following Jack's message, Angie picked a spot near the waterfall to meet. Jack admitted he was intimate with Rachel on the night of the murder and knew Angie had seen him. Angie called Jack selfish because he destroyed the evidence. The argument escalated to their daughter's death, screaming,
Shut up! Just to get over.
Jack accused Angie of disappearing for a year without a word. But there is a Chinese proverb: when the truth is revealed, the poison is gone. After clearing the air, they realized they still loved each other. Another proverb: arguments in bed end in bed. So they forgot their grievances inside the car. I don't know why you guys like this stuff in cars, but anyway, after being intimate, they no longer suspected each other of murder. While those two couples were busy, Aya was working alone in the office. She looked through old school albums and saw all four of them wearing that same bracelet. The next day, at an emergency meeting, the boss announced the mayor was furious. If they don't catch the killer now, everyone is fired. Even though Jack blamed Malcolm, for the first time, Aya disagreed. She thinks the killer is either Angie or Joy. Jack stormed out, smashing the door. He wants to catch Malcolm before Aya does. His logic is that Rachel used to insult Malcolm, wanted money, or threatened to spread those obscene videos. Malcolm was impressed by his imagination, but reminded him about the C blackmailer. His name starts with C, and he had no relation to Malcolm. On the contrary, the one who was sleeping with Rachel was Jack himself. After Jack was called out by Malcolm, he left. Meanwhile, Aya went to the daughter to ask about the bracelet. The daughter was sick again and gave her cold water instead of tea. When Angie returned, Aya showed her the album, but Angie denied they were friends. Jack got a new lead. A pickup driver, hoping for the reward, revealed he dropped Rachel off at an expensive apartment. When she left, she had a bruise on her face. Could that be the killer? Meanwhile, Joy arrived terrified, saying she was the next victim. Jack ignored her, but Joy kept talking about that horrific night 20 years ago.
Sure.
Anna is not who you think she is. I think...
Jack left her at the station and went to find Bo, because Bo lives in that apartment. Bo confessed he killed Rachel in self-defense because she was stalking Kim. Jack beat Bo up, and Angie arrived, trying to save him.
Aya cornered Joy at the station, grilling her about the past of those four. Joy insisted Aya was wrong. There were 5 of them taking those photos, and the 5th was that overweight girl everyone always overlooked. Aya went home and hit the internet. Meanwhile, the phone company confirmed Rachel only communicated with Malcolm, Helen, and Jack. This convinced Aya that Jack had to be the killer. But we know she's wrong, because while Joy was stepping into the shower, a dark shadow closed in on her. Jack returned home, saw water dripping from the roof, and realized Joy had left the faucet running. He kicked open the door, only to find Joy lying in a pool of blood. Meanwhile, Angie and Bo returned to the hotel, only to find their room reservation canceled. Bo mentioned her father owned a villa, so he decided to stay there for the night. On the drive, Angie started bringing up stuff from 20 years ago. The 4 girls used to mess with that one girl because they knew some things about her past. It was Angie's 16th birthday, and Rachel took them to the lake for a picnic. The 5 of them were having a blast until late into the night. Suddenly, 3 creeps showed up. Rachel told the others not to worry, saying a party is always better with guys around. Things started off fine, but once the booze kicked in, those guys couldn't keep their hands to themselves. They started harassing that girl. The flashback stopped right there,
because the car pulled up to the villa. Bo brought Angie inside and they saw Kim waiting for them. It was a tense situation. Angie thought about calling a rideshare to leave, but the place was so remote no driver would come. She had no choice but to head inside. But what she saw next left her speechless. A family photo hung on the wall, the parents and their deceased older daughter. But in the spot where Kim's photo should have been, it was the face of that overweight girl. In a split second, everything clicked for Angie. That 300-pound girl was harboring a deep, poisonous hatred. Despite sharing the same mother, her older sister was beautiful, while she just lived on junk food. Her sister would mock her, saying she had high blood pressure before she even hit high school. That triggered something evil in the girl. She grabbed her sister's asthma inhaler and drained all the medicine out of it. The sister never dreamed her own flesh and blood was planted to kill her. Without a hint of suspicion, they went out on the boat. The girl claimed she couldn't go because of her weight. Out in the middle of the lake, the sister had an asthma attack. That lake wasn't just any pond. It was a half-hour swim to the shore. And just like that, the sister died gasping on that boat. From then on, that girl became the apple of the family's eye. Angie realized that the twisted girl harbored a burning hatred for Rachel and the others because they let those creeps humiliate her on that birthday night. She had plenty of money, so she spent a fortune losing weight, got plastic surgery, and rebranded herself as Kim. That C on Rachel's phone, that was the initial for Kim. She laid it all out for Jack. Hearing this, Jack was horrified. Forgetting about his own sister's body, he rushed toward the villa like a madman. But Aya blocked his path, demanding answers before she let him pass. Exhausted, Aya eventually fell asleep, and Jack took his chance and slipped away. The scene inside the villa was more intense than any movie. Angie suspected Bo might be involved in the killings, so she pulled a gun and opened fire. Bo scrambled in fear, and Angie unloaded an entire magazine in a blind rage. Kim screamed, "I've been waiting 20 years for this day. Do you have any idea how long I've gone without a taste of grilled food just to keep up this disguise?" Two women, hair pulling, full-on brawl. After a dozen rounds, the place was trashed. They were panting on the floor when Jack's voice echoed through the house. Angie bolted toward the door. Kim didn't realize the gun was empty. She raised it to fire, and then pop, her skull was blown away. Jack was shocked seeing Kim taken out with such a precise shot from point-blank range. Angie then told Jack everything. Kim's motive was clear: revenge and the sting of humiliation. The police captain showed up at the end, bragging that he knew that overweight girl was bad news all along, noting she was even eating donuts at her own sister's funeral. Plus, they found Rachel's fingernails and the murder weapon in Kim's room. Aya was worried if shooting in self-defense was overkill, but Jack assured her no one would ever know the gun was empty.
You probably think that's the end of it. No way. The police might have closed the case, but the real killer was still in the shadows. The story jumps 1 year ahead to 2026. After Kim's death, Angie got her job back as a news anchor. She and Jack patched things up, and Angie is now pregnant. She's a huge store now with lucrative offers, but out of gratitude to her old boss, she decided to stay. Jack saved his job and even adopted his little niece, taking care of her like a father. The whole family planned a trip to the countryside to visit May. Thanks to the hotel care, May's Alzheimer's had miraculously improved. But when Angie read a letter written by May, her blood ran cold. May was the true mastermind behind everything. She killed them all. 2 years ago, when Angie and Jack left their daughter with May, the old woman was thrilled, but no one knew the child suddenly fell ill and died. May was consumed by guilt. Unable to handle Angie's disappearance, she grew lonely and isolated. By day, she'd talk to her granddaughter's grave, and by night, she'd watch old videos of Angie. One day, when she was late getting back, she saw Rachel and her friends harassing the girl in the woods. Watching the footage on an old TV player, she saw the horrific incident from Angie's 16th birthday. Those 3 creeps had tried to humiliate the overweight girl, but at 300 pounds, the girl had immense strength. She fought them off and escaped. Then those monsters set their sights on Angie, Rachel, Helen, and Joy. Seeing Angie in such a helpless state, Rachel and the others just laughed, while the overweight girl hid and watched it all, doing nothing to help. Seeing the suffering of the child she raised with her own blood ignited a fire of hatred in May. She watched that video daily, feeding her thirst for revenge and burning the overweight girl's face into her memory. That's why when she saw Kim on TV, while others couldn't spot the plastic surgery, May recognized her instantly. It was the same girl. For a whole year, May plotted her revenge. She got her chance on the anniversary of her granddaughter's death. When Jack and Rachel were busy dating and Angie was hiding in the back of the car, May was lurking in the bushes. The moment Angie left, May slashed the car tires. Jack drove off, but Rachel was left stranded. The rest is history, the imagination and the razor-sharp blade. Nobody suspected that a woman could be a killer hiding in plain sight. And the kicker? She faked the Alzheimer's the entire year. After every kill, May calmly changed her clothes and walked home. The police never dreamed a frail old woman was a cold-blooded killer who wiped out 3 people. Angie's tears won't stop. She looks at her mother, and May stares back with a chilling calm. Nobody would ever label this motherhood as twisted. I just see a mother's infinite endurance and the power of maternal love. Maybe you'd say, didn't May leave any evidence? That's the brilliance of May. That bullet from Anaya's gun finished Kim right there, and the police closed the case. All those fingerprints and DNA tests that were left to be done? Never needed. May remained perfectly out of reach. That's why I'd say this is the best suspense thriller series of early 2026. You absolutely have to watch it. All right, that wraps up this massive breakdown. This 1,000-word explanation is a reflection of my love for you all. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit that like button and share it. The regulars know what to do, and for the new friends watching, please subscribe and hit that notification bell. Thanks a million for staying with me until the end. See you in the next one.